President Trump is up and tweeting this morning. Just out a few moments ago, he says Republican senators will not let the American people down. Obamacare premiums and deductibles are way up. It was a lie, and it is dead. We are joined now by one of those Republican senators, Senator Susan Collins from Maine. Senator, thank you for joining us this morning. We just heard the president right there. You heard Speaker Ryan as well, but you had serious concerns. You were against the original House bill. Is it fair to say you're against the amended one?
I have a lot of concerns. It's difficult to assess the new House bill because we still don't have a CBO analysis of the impact on coverage and costs. And those are key questions.
Those are key questions. I mean, we heard Dr. Gawande weigh in on that as well. But you heard Speaker Ryan right there. He says he's going to take care of those older rural Americans who don't have the tax credits, who are going to lose their subsidies under Obamacare. He cited your state of Maine several times.
Well, first of all, one of the problems with the House bill is that the tax credits are not adjusted for income or geographic region. That really hurts a state like Maine, where we have an older population living in largely more expensive rural areas as far as health care is concerned. I've heard a lot of talk about the Maine high-risk pool, and indeed it was a success in Maine for the 18 months or so in which it operated before the passage of the ACA, and it can be part of the solution. But in Maine, we had definite revenue streams supporting the high-risk pool, and that is why it worked. In the House bill, it's really up to the states to come up with whatever option they wish. So that could work, and it could be part of the solution, but the devil really is in the details.
So do you agree with the Speaker Ryan and President Trump are saying that people with pre-existing conditions are going to have the same coverage they have now, even better? Speaker Ryan said in some cases layers of protection than under Obamacare?
I think that's unlikely, but so much discretion is given to the states without any guardrails. The difference between that approach and the approach in the bill that Senator Cassidy and I have introduced is we keep the ACA safeguards, the consumer protections for people with pre-existing conditions. It's true that under the House bill that a state that gets a waiver would still have to provide coverage to people with pre-existing conditions, but that coverage might well be unaffordable. And if the coverage is unaffordable, that doesn't do any good for a child who has juvenile diabetes and is going to have that her entire life, and once she's no longer on her parents' policy, that's going to create problems in some states.
If the House bill were before you today, would you be a yes?
Well, first of all, the House bill is not going to come before us. The Senate is starting from scratch. We're going to draft our own bill, and I'm convinced that we're going to take the time to do it right. Speaker Ryan today said that he hoped that the Senate would improve the House bill. I think we will do so, and that we will come up with a whole new fresh approach that solves the legitimate flaws that do exist with the ACA, where we've seen in some markets insurers fleeing, so people won't be able to buy subsidized insurance, but it will also keep some of the benefits of the ACA. My goal is to actually expand coverage for those 28 million Americans who still lack coverage today despite the ACA.
A lot of people are struck by the working group that's been put together in the Senate to deal with health care. I'm going to put the picture up right there. There you see it right there. 13 men, not a single woman. Cecile Richards from Planned Parenthood tweeted about that. When women aren't at the table, we're on the menu. Senator Patty Murray, Democratic senator, of course. It matters to have women at the table, and it matters when they aren't. Why aren't you on that working group?
Well, the leaders obviously chose the people they want, but I'm working hard with Senator Cassidy, with our co-sponsors, Senator Mike Rounds, Shelley Moore Capito, Johnny Isakson. We're reaching out to moderate Democrats. I would like to see us put together a bipartisan group to solve this problem of Democrats who acknowledge that there are problems with the current law, that it is not working well in several states, and Republicans who also want to make sure that we're not reducing coverage and we're giving flexibility. There's an issue that no one's talking about in Washington that's so critical, and that is if we're going to reduce the cost of health insurance, we have to take steps to reduce the cost of health care. And no one's talking about that. Senator Cassidy and I have in our bill a transparency section so that you would actually know what you're paying. And I think that would help consumers make better choices.
Final question. Can you support a final bill that denies Medicaid funding to Planned Parenthood?
That is an important issue to me because I don't think that low-income women should be denied their choice of health care providers for family planning, cancer screenings, and well women care. It's not the only issue in this huge bill, but I certainly think that it's not fair and it is a mistake to defund Planned Parenthood, but it's one of many issues.
Senator Collins, thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you, George.
Up next, the roundtable takes on the politics of health care. Will this week's victory for the White House cost the GOP control of Congress next year? We'll be right back.